Welcome to the Salt Circle podcast. My name is Hank. With me, as always, is Ben.
Yeah. Is it pronounced Ben, though? It could be Ben. Could be Bien. Could be Ben. Could be Ben with an H before the N. Yeah. You never know. You never know. I'm, of course, referencing the various names in Akira. There's K. There's Kai.
And Kai.
There's K. Except in my, like, again, in the version of the manga that I was reading, they spell her name Kay, but then later when Kai shows up, I was just like, I was confused because her name is originally spelled Kei, I guess. So
Yeah. Well, it's
and then in the film,
written in Japanese, but yeah, sure.
yeah. But like I assume they just changed it so that people get the pronunciation right or something, or to like differentiate from.
I don't know. The
Kai
version
and K.
the version I have always had it as Kei. So
Yeah, but I mean the movie
versions I read, I
for
guess
that.
technically I changed translations halfway through.
Okay. Yeah. So
But yeah, I mean, I knew once I watched the movie, then I would rewatch the movie, I would get it right.
yeah. Yeah, we finished Akira, and we watched the movie Akira. I'm glad we waited until the end. Very glad we did. I think halfway through, I wouldn't have gotten the full effect. I think.
Fair enough.
Or I wouldn't have had as
I
many
watched the movie
thoughts.
before I ever read the comic, so.
Well, yeah, you're not a real fan. Much like I am not a real fan of Lord of the Rings. My single greatest regret. Because that's how it has to be. You know, I guess start with the manga, I suppose.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's picking up where we left off.
We were like a bit under halfway, right? With volume 3, I guess. Or the chapter count, I suppose, is the easier way to look at it.
Yeah, if you go by, we're probably like, it's probably closer to like 2/5 of the way through.
Sure. Yeah,
But-
yeah.
Because volumes 2 and 3 are easily the smallest volumes. And 4, 5, and 6 are the beefiest.
Which is interesting because the back stretch sailed. I was flying. Like it was, I guess because
They're
it's
mo-
like
well-
all action.
Yeah, they're more splash pages of just like
More,
pure action stuff.
More splash
less
pages and
wordy.
also like
And also you're invested.
yeah, you've done all the legwork of like, you know, the beginning has its slow points and you're trying to figure out who's who, and then I mean shit just peaks and then you're ready to roll. Yeah, that was wild. Now you're doing like does your nice edition, is it black and white still? It's not a colored
Yeah.
one, right? Yeah.
No.
I like the colors. I don't know how it would feel. I mean, first off, as I mentioned last time, like I wouldn't be able to tell anyone apart. Even in the movie, there were a couple people I'm like, who the fuck is this? Like, just awful. Yeah, but the end stuff was so good. I feel like, I don't know. I'm sure it's biased because you know what? I'm not gonna say it's biased. I just like colors. I am a simple man who likes shiny things.
Yeah, I don't love how the coloring job they did on it.
Sure. Yeah.
Like if I thought the coloring looked better to me, I might like it more, but
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know.
yeah.
His Otomo's drawings are so fucking good.
Yeah, dude.
The line work's just really good.
God, the cityscapes and the vehicles and shit and the architecture, it's so good. Like it's very enjoyable to look at. Shit got weird.
Oh yeah.
This is like, I mean, I guess not in the, it doesn't follow the same way as the manga, but the Akira manga feels like a tiny bit like the Berserk anime, in terms of like you're kind of bumbling along and there's like some stuff going on, but then it just like unhinges. Yeah, that shit was, it was crazy, kind of confusing, but in a way that I like. You know, you start dealing with the, like, this cosmic shit, and I love it. I love that it's not, I was trying to think like non-sarcastically, I love it when I have to hit up Wikipedia to figure out what the fuck just happened. To an extent, but this was it was definitely like it left me thinking. I was, yeah, the only thing for me, like, nothing to do with the plot, but the site I was using had really poor quality scans for the I think it's like 4 pages. There's like 4 spreads of like Tetsuo's memories, and it's just like shitloads of dialogue, like kind of
like, and they're spread. Like, yeah, it's like all overlaid and stuff.
Yeah,
and like some of them are sideways. And
yeah,
he's just trying to give you all his memories at once or whatever.
Yeah, those resolutions were like terrible. So I was like, I think my eyesight worsened by like 50% trying to figure out what was being said. I got the gist of it, but I was like, there's so many pages with like almost no text on them, and these are the ones that are the shit quality of the upload. So that was fun. But no, that stuff was, I mean, it's basically Space Odyssey, like point for point.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
You know,
at the end, yeah.
There's a baby. You were correct. This baby was a lot fleshier.
Fleshier. So fleshy. The meteor. Like those images of, and like particularly like in the movie of like Tetsuo's skin like folding away, is like it can't fit under over all the meat that's coming up from underneath.
Yeah, dude. Gross. I love it
is gross.
I love that concept though. I love that concept of like it's not him. Like, him and this power are separate things, and this power is just like chilling in his body for a while, and then all of a sudden it's like, let me out.
It's like his body is not enough to contain it.
Yeah.
He needs things like drugs or biological weapons, and then he's feeling great.
Yeah. Dude, and the kind of I mean, it's similar. I guess I just thought of it. I was trying to figure out what part of the, you know, because there's like this balance or I guess conflict sort of like, you know, do you take the medicine to limit it, or do you just go like all out and eventually sort of get a bit of a grasp on it, you know? Kind of. I guess that's kind of like what Akira does, right? Like, he's mastered his power, correct? Sort of.
He's been like
terms with it?
Completely overtaken by the power.
Yeah.
Because they describe it as like Akira doesn't have his own will anymore. He's just the power.
Yeah. But it's like he's come
like,
to like
for whatever reason he's like become perfected, so he just gets to hang out as himself. He's not like it's not like bursting forth in that way that it is for Tetsuo, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it's something the thing I got from it was that it's almost like Zen-like, right? Like he's sort of attuned to it. He lost himself, but yeah, he's at a stable point. he's not turning into a meaty baby. Anyway.
He's always angry.
Yeah. That's perfect. He's always angry. But sort of the idea with with what Tetsuo was going through, kind of reminded me of Promare. I mean, obviously it would be the other way around for people who have experienced it, but like just for the order that I saw it in, like that idea of like, oh, they want to just like burn out, like they have this drive to just burn things, and then here it's like you just gotta start doing shit. You just gotta like, how do you cure the headache? By smashing your head through a wall. Oh no.
Yeah,
I liked it though. I definitely want. I want to get like a physical copy so I can not scroll on my phone.
Yeah.
Or like on a screen or whatever. Like I want to take it. It's like we were talking about with the comics, and like getting to, I forget how you phrased it, but like getting to like peruse them and take in more things more quickly. It's like that, but also like slowly, like getting to fully grasp what you're reading.
Yeah. There's the slow, like meticulous read through, and then there's also just like picking it off the shelf and flipping through it. And both are great experiences.
Yeah, dude. Akira, I was even just thinking when you were posting some comic panels in the Discord chat, I like wanted to join in and post some from Star Wars. I'm like, this would be a lot fucking easier if I had the book. I'm not gonna look up the file and then click through a PDF trying to find the page. It's just not worth it.
Yeah, no, that was fun because I was just pulling shit off shelves.
Yeah, dude.
I was like, what panels do I love that I can access just by pulling a book off a shelf right now?
Yep.
Rather than like going through Marvel Unlimited and finding things, or going through I could have also like started going through my long boxes or something, but that would have been a whole other mess. That would just created a mess on top of it.
I suppose I could have pulled some of my Beowulf comics for that, but anyway. Yeah, so I mean the when was the manga started again for Akira? The movie was 88, right? Pretty sure that's what it said. 88, so the manga was like what, 86? Probably.
Something like that.
I'm gonna guess 86. Let's see. 82 to 90.
Okay, 82 to 90.
I was right dead center. Okay. Yeah, no, this is I mean, it's just very fucking good.
Yeah, I think I think they like started the movie in 86 maybe. Something
Okay,
like
that would check out. So I saw a thing, and it was comparing, I guess it's relevant for like the movie and the manga. It was comparing like the entire thing to like a post World War II Japan. Like, is that an actual thing, or is that like I guess like a Lord of the Rings thing where like author completely denies it even though it lines up perfectly?
So I was watching I'm gonna go off of like one interview I was watching with Otomo that is on YouTube. It was pulled off the Blu-ray, I think. When he talks about like what influenced him, it's like the scene of comics he was working in was mostly based off of like just writing your life. Like it was just showing real world, and the movies he referenced being influenced by more were like Bonnie and Clyde and like like these American movies that were about like running away for a different life. And then he talked about how he was like, he thought about that, but he's like, but I don't have any money for that. What can I do to make money? What can I do to eat? Oh, I can make comics. I could probably eat off making comics. And then he was like, that was fucking ambitious. That was a dumb thing to think. But that's what I thought.
That's
So,
wild.
like, and Akira then, like, comes out of that into being, like,
Yeah,
this
that's
post-apocalypse. It's weird.
yeah. Okay. I don't know. It's an interesting thing for me. It's not like
Yeah.
important, really. Like it's just English degree bullshit, but like I always wonder how much like was Tolkien so in denial that he was like the ring is it how could you get nuclear power from the One Ring? What? Are you crazy? It doesn't work. Like no, it works, but was it intentional? Like I don't know. I find that shit interesting. I saw that and thought I would mention.
Yeah, I mean, I think Tolkien's stuff about not being influenced by
The war
world
he was
wars. Yeah, that's horseshit.
Yeah.
Like, he was definitely influenced by the. It's not like maybe he wasn't trying to write a strict allegory, but he was definitely influenced.
Yeah, yeah.
Like that informed his view of the world
Mm-hmm.
and war.
It's not writing about nuclear weapons. It's just writing about how unimaginable sources of power shouldn't be used by anyone.
Uh-huh.
Totally different. So,
Yeah. Like, yeah, like saying Tokyo being destroyed by a giant bomb. Maybe that was influenced by the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Maybe, just that throwing something out there. Maybe that
well,
had a connection.
no, as we've established, it was inspired by the Damnation artwork for Magic the Gathering. Just a straight rip. They looked at that card and they were like, what if this happened in Japan and we had already written this like 20 years ago? Yeah. Man. I don't like, I have so many, this is like the worst part. It's so much easier when things are bad, which is hilarious. Like,
The part. When to dig into.
yeah, Junkie mentioned Korra, and I'm like, I'm down to shit on Korra. Let's go. I
mean, that's
I can
yeah.
hop on board all
That's
day.
why we got. I mean, yeah,
Sidetracked.
we're doing
Yeah.
a podcast and we got completely sidetracked by talking about it because it's
so
easy to talk
easy.
about,
Yeah, yeah.
even if.
Or like even non I was gonna say non-neutral, but really I meant neutral, the opposite of what I was about to say. Like picking out like themes or like specific things, but there's so many thoughts like running through my head. Like it's a feeling. It's hard to describe.
One of so there's a thing that is amazing about the Akira manga to me is how fucking big it is, even though it all takes place in one place. Like it's just in this one city. It's like the thing I want to compare it to is like The Wire. It's just like as much about these characters in this one place as it
Yeah.
is about like any person or particular story even.
Yeah, yeah.
It doesn't have like new layers of elements to introduce the way The Wire does from season to season, but so it's structurally different. It's structurally or not like that, but
Yeah. No, it's I mean and for me like I was kind of thinking, I've been going like back and forth because I've always heard that this is like full on cyberpunk. Like
Yeah.
anytime someone mentions cyberpunk, like this always comes up.
Yeah, I would say it comes up more because of the movie.
Yeah, I was actually gonna get to that a bit. Like the movie, and even the movie, like it all feels like it's definitely in the genre, but it's on like the fringe of what would
Well,
nowadays at least be expected. Like
it's doing more. It's
yeah,
not
yeah,
like it's not just like no, we're just about the vibe of cyberpunk above all else. Like it happens to be like a cyberpunk setting and then it's telling this like giant
yeah,
story that's
yeah, yeah.
pushing towards 2001 and ending.
I think it's just like having never seen it before or anything. Like it's so adamantly described as cyberpunk that you get that more stereotypical image in your head if you are someone who hasn't seen the film or read the manga. But the film certainly like it's that's way more cyberpunk. That's way closer to the
Yeah, those
traditional
visions of
image.
the way the skyscrapers are shown in the color
Dude,
of the movie.
dude, it's so good.
Yeah.
But yeah, the manga like it definitely stays a little. I mean, you're not spending 90 minutes just talking about a bike, so much harder
The
to be
bike is
cyberpunk.
such a bigger part of the movie. Is such a big part of the movie.
Pretty good though. I'm for it.
Uh-huh.
They could have
It's a
gone
good
farther
fucking
with it.
bike. And I love how trash it is by the end of that movie.
It's yeah, just dumped on. Yeah, let's see. Anything else like about the manga? That
Okay,
really
so like
stood out?
how volume 4 where there is no Kaneda. How did you feel about that
Oh,
volume?
didn't bother me
specifically?
like at all.
Yeah. But like how not bother, but like considering like we leave the story with uh New Tokyo being destroyed again. Or I guess Neo Tokyo being destroyed for the first time.
Yeah.
Um like is that as the story like transitions from being about a rebuilt post-apocalyptic society to post
Yeah.
post-apocalyptic
Yeah.
or whatever. Were you just like flying through with the ride or
What do you like as
just
opposed to
like
was it a
yeah, I don't know. Like
slog?
how did you feel about it or whatever?
I thought it was fine. I thought it was good.
Yeah.
I mean there was a bit yeah. I guess
Or
was there
where did you have a sense of like where the story was going at all?
um I mean I figured Canada was like not
Gotta
dead.
come back. Yeah.
It's not a hard play to call.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't know to like what extent. Like in my mind, pretty much anything was on the table. Like I knew that we had our big powers in play. We have Akira, Tetsuo, and the three kids, and then you find out that K is a medium, like a conduit, I guess, and then Lady Miyako, Miyako.
Miyako, I think.
Um,
Her name doesn't get said in the movie because she's kind of not in it.
yeah,
They use her character design, but yeah.
So like I know that those are powers, and then as we see shit like I guess manifesting, like as we start to see like the flesh babies and whatnot,
Yeah.
I was like maybe something like this starts happening to Kay, maybe like maybe Canada comes back, but he's like, it's not fully, or it's like not him, or he's been absorbed into somebody or something. Like,
Uh-huh.
I was kind of ready for anything.
Sure.
Just because I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe they.
I love the backstory of Lady Miyako, where the reason she's not in the program anymore is because she literally died and was dead for like years, like almost a decade, and then she woke up.
So I was I was a little confused by that part. Maybe it's like a weird translation thing or something, because she said she died, but then she said she
Yeah.
was like, oh, maybe I like misread. The way I originally interpreted or took it or thought I read was that she died, but then she said she died, but then when she was describing the sequence of events, it sounded like she didn't die and they just froze her for like 13 years. But I definitely know people were like, "Oh, you died," but the way she described it didn't sound like she died. Maybe I misinterpreted
No, she
it or
died.
whatever. Yeah.
That because if they had frozen her, then they would have a track of her. The reason why nobody's looking for this other number that's out in the world is because they don't know it exists. Because they think
Yeah.
she died,
Mm-hmm.
and then she woke up outside, and then like built her whole little squad
The monk
herself.
boys.
Yeah. So I love like seeing the ways in which like other characters with power, like lower level characters are getting powers. Like
Yeah.
Tetsuo makes those dudes eat the pill, and then like two of them die and the other one lives, and then
Becomes a
it's just
giant
like this.
Ugh.
Yeah, you got the scout guy who has the blindfold and like the eyes
Yeah,
tattooed
and
on his forehead.
yeah.
He's just crying out.
Pretty
Just,
good.
like as like things go, you've got like kind of Tetsuo's whole faction with that captain dude who's I don't think ever given a name. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
he's
I
just
don't.
a captain.
Yeah.
And he's got like he's like has these very specific like, oh, we gotta fucking beat them goals, and Tetsuo is not doesn't give a shit. It's so funny
Yeah.
seeing like the levels. Like Tetsuo has Akira around, and Tetsuo cares more about stuff than Akira, and then Tetsuo has this even lower dude who also is like way more petty and cares about minor things than Tetsuo does.
Mm-hmm.
Like the layers of management go down, you get pettier and pettier.
Man, the bit. It's such a cool moment when Tetsuo looks like he gets into Akira's head, and he like freaks the fuck out. That's some good shit right there.
Yeah.
That's like great shit. That's god tier.
He's like he just like bows to him at the end.
Yeah. So good. Like it's almost one of those, because we get like, I mean, we don't get it like maybe the complete pic. It's one of those weird things where like the scale is so big that any attempt, it's like Bird Box. If everybody goes insane when they look at these creatures and you show them on screen, you fucked up. Because now the viewer has to kill themselves or you did a bad job. So, on one hand, like, I think, like, part of me kind of wishes that we almost got less information, but I don't think they went overboard. They walked a fine line. Like, I'm left wanting more and like thinking about it, but it's not to a point where like, okay, well, oh, it's just this. He's just a god, whatever.
It's starting a Big Bang. It's whatever.
Yeah, little mini universe.
Yeah, it's a 2001. No big deal.
God, it's been so long since I've done 2001.
I love the way Kaneda comes back, where Tetsuo just looks like into Akira, and then like everything that got absorbed into the explosion Akira did at the end of Volume 3 just gets like vomited back out.
Yeah.
And all like those like skyscrapers falling on top of skyscrapers. And then Kaneda's
So
just
good.
there, the fucking rebel, like, what the fuck? Is it over? You get the is it over? And we're it's like we're a little over halfway through the story finally.
Yeah. And then
It's so good. I like Chiyoko and Kei like going
was
through the
so
city, and like
fucking
Chiyoko
good.
fucking firing rockets that she's just been beating people with out of her arm.
Yeah, dude. It's so good. That was so good to watch.
Chiyoko's so good. It's just so fucking strong.
It's so great, dude. Just watch her beat people down.
Mm-hmm.
Man, it's still like they kept going. I mean, everybody gave me so much shit for the end of Berserk. I guess the secret is, instead of having it all condensed into one scene at the end, that's awful. You just sprinkle it throughout the manga, and then it's fine. Like, why is every single person in this manga a rapist? And there's only one woman on Earth. Chiyoko doesn't count. Too strong.
Lady Miyako doesn't count
Too old.
because she's old.
Well, the reason why Chiyoko doesn't count is because by the time people have realized she's a woman, they're dead. So.
Also, there are all those girls Tetsuo murders before he
Slash.
Kaori
blood
lives.
orgy.
Here, take these drugs that are going to drive you insane and have you die.
Yeah.
But first,
yeah.
the boning.
Didn't even get to that part, it seemed like. It seemed like you checked out.
Yeah, I
mean,
don't
at
know.
least this time. No,
He
like that
probably
whole.
generally checks out.
Just. Very gross feeling.
Bad dude.
Not great.
It's not great.
Highly.
I mean, the difference is the character, like, part of it is the way the camera works in this isn't like leering. Like, even when like women are naked, like it doesn't have that gross like yeah feel that like so many things do when they do that shit.
Yeah.
This is pretty. Like, it just doesn't have that feeling. I don't know.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I thought of
Like,
that.
like Kay is not a sexualized character. Like, characters want to fuck her, but the camera is never like, playing it up or whatever.
Yeah. I mean.
Also,
Yeah,
like,
that.
nothing actually happens to her, really.
Yeah. Yeah,
Compared
that
to Berserk.
it was like a. It was like a. Almost like maybe not a disconnect, but like, yeah, the fact that we see some topless chicks, and it's whatever. Like, it's definitely like non-sexualized entirely.
Yeah, no,
But-
like this
but the
I would
fact-
say this comic stays like walks the line, but I would say it only crosses with like the stuff with Tetsuo more so
Yeah.
that he does.
Yeah. It's just like it's so.
And the part with like in the movie, the part where Kiori gets her shirt ripped off is too much, but
Yeah, that I'm like, out of all the scenes to add to a movie, you decided this was one
that
of
one.
them.
Yeah, no, that's too much. Not
Yeah.
gonna defend that.
That was rough to watch.
She gets treated like dog shit in that movie.
Dude, it was bad. Like at first when she asked about Tetsuo, like when he was in the hospital or whatever, And I was like, okay,
Yeah,
like
'cause
they're
they
gonna
have
make
to-
this chick like have more of a connection, and then she gets like skished inside of Tetsuo.
Yeah, they shortcut their whole relationship by just she was already dating
Yeah.
him, but
Which I
then
thought was
like the rest
fine.
of the movie is she's just there and then gets shit on at the end. It's not ideal.
Yeah. Yeah.
But again, like the other difference is Akira has enough female characters that are good that having a female that like it's not like all its female representation gets shit on or whatever.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you have a lot of really good female characters who are handled well.
Yeah.
So
I mean, do you know why?
That's another reason it doesn't
Do you
get
know
shit on.
why Kei and Shioko are sexy? Because they're
competent.
Yeah, because they're real people. And also because at least one of them could easily crush my windpipe with her bare hands.
Oh yeah. I mean, she crushes a dude's skull just by hitting it.
Dude, so many people just get fucking annihilated. Ridiculous. Like in the first half when we meet her and like, okay, like pretty badass lady. And then here is like, okay, like a pretty
No, her
Killing
badass
machine.
just keeps going up and up.
yeah, just leveling up at every turn.
Oh, I do think like when she fires a rocket, a live rocket
yeah.
out of her arm, that's
Yeah.
pretty peak.
Just beating people with it and then like whoosh. That was great.
Yeah, after she smashed like people's skulls with
Yeah.
it.
Caving in craniums. And she's like, well,
Better finish off this group.
I need range. So good. Just so good. Yeah.
So yeah, that's volume 4. Volume 5, we get Kaneda coming back, and he's got to get clothes, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. He doesn't want to look like shit.
It's important.
I get it. He's all about that drip.
And honestly, when I was reading this, I did not expect the comeback of Joker.
Yeah, that was not a thing I saw
So,
coming. I was
like-
pretty sure that dude was wrecked.
Yeah, no. He comes back and is a major character. Not like super important, but he's there the whole time.
I mean, I like how his face changes every panel.
Yeah,
basically.
he cares about his makeup. He's gonna change it every time he goes out. It's part of his look.
Part of his shtick.
I also like how he like makes fun of Canada for being too skinny.
Yeah.
Also, it's funny that he's like just really into like working on stuff.
Yeah, like all
Like
the
his-
tinkering and shit.
Yeah. Like even like trying to leave and he's like, I'm just trying to get it to work. Just wait.
Yeah,
wait
yeah.
for me. Like he's like actually just a fucking nerd about mechanical stuff.
Hell
He's
yeah.
this like
He's
huge
a little-
gang leader.
Yeah. I mean, you can be both. He's like Henry Cavill.
Exactly.
Why did you miss your
Exactly.
audition? I was in a WoW raid.
Fucking we get the soul, we get the other laser satellite, the American one.
Yeah, I had to like I was like I had to make sure that like it was a different one cuz I was confused for a hot second.
Yeah. Well, because they've seen they show Soul and then it's like tiny in the background and then they zoom in on it.
Yeah.
It's like the other one.
Yeah. I mean,
Oh, we get Tetsuo going to the moon.
that was great.
Just fucks up the like. Akira just sees the moon is like moon, like
I'm
go
gonna-
fuck it up.
I'm going to punch the moon right in its
Just,
stupid
like-
fucking face.
Give the moon a ring.
That was a cool shot.
Yeah.
Very good.
all
Very good
the
panel.
fucking ocean. Like
Yeah, just
all
fucking
the
up the
tides
weather
getting
and
fucked up.
hell yeah. At first I was okay, so when he looks at the moon and he's like, "Yeah, the moon, that'll work." I thought he was honest to God. I don't know why, because I don't think it would have made any sense at all. But my second instinct was he just obliterates the moon from Earth. Like just looking at it, it just like is exploded entirely. But my first instinct for some reason was he does the thing from like Bruce Almighty where he like pulls the moon in closer, like lasso style. Like I don't know why that was my first instinct, but I'm like, no, that doesn't seem like the move here. Probably gonna blow it up or something. And he punched it, so close enough. But yeah, for a hot second, thought he was gonna lasso the moon for Akira.
I mean, I really don't know why punching the moon was the move either, other than it was pretty cool.
It's cool, dude.
It's good show of power.
Yeah. Gotta show the
It's
world.
like, how strong is Tetsuo? He's a moon puncher.
So he's like
Donkey Kong.
one level below Yuko.
One day he'll be strong as Master Roshi.
What did Master Roshi do aside from try to
He
grope
blew up the moon.
preteens? Oh,
I mean, he also tried to watch them pee, but
that seems like a Tetsuo move. I can see it. You know what? I don't know. It was probably in volume 5. I suppose it was 4 or 5. We get that panel with the kid that like pisses himself. Do you recall that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's
yeah, vaguely.
just such a like I don't know. It has the same energy as like snot-nosed kid from Wind Waker. Honestly. Like, hey, you little shit, what are you doing? Pisses shorts because he's a child, and that's what children do. Of course, they just out and about.
Just pee.
Yeah,
Look, you're a child in the apocalypse. What are you gonna do?
you're gonna piss wherever you want, man. The world's your toilet.
Hell yeah. All social constructs are broken.
Ugh. Bad trope.
Yeah. Tetsuo's group just like fills their food with drugs. I'll try and give people superpowers.
Yeah, dude,
or
that like
reveal who has
paste.
powers.
See,
Yeah.
that was no good.
No.
The cockroaches in Snowpiercer much more pleasing than drug paste.
Yeah. It's a bad time. So yeah, volume 4 we get the attack on Lady Miyako's temple by the captain. While Tetsuo's like off doing shit also.
Yeah.
And like Lady Miyako is like, I have no time for this. Can't you handle it? And they're like, he's fucking murdering everyone. God damn it.
They have a lot of guns.
But then she's like, I don't really get why she insists that Kay doesn't kill that dude. Because all that happens is then he goes away and then he's like, all right, got to do it again.
Round 2, baby.
Like, it has, like, because all she really cares about is keeping Kay safe, really. Doesn't really care about any of the other shit. It's all below her aims.
Mm-hmm.
But, I'm not sure why you don't just kill that dude. That dude sucks.
He's not great.
He's got a tie, so you know he's a serious 80s businessman.
Yeah.
serious 80s character.
He's got big used car salesman energy.
Mm-hmm.
Like I could see like a sleazy salesman slipping into that role pretty easily. Yeah. I forget, does the weird like body shit, does that start to happen in 5 or is that 6? Fully.
I mean, some of it starts to happen in. It starts to happen in 5, because I remember because like the cover is when like Tetsuo started
Ah, okay.
being weird.
Mine all
Because I think he
blended
becomes.
together.
I think he like becomes the ship. Maybe I can't remember.
Oh, is that in 5? Yeah.
Yeah, I think he
That
becomes
checks out.
the aircraft carrier in 5.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't
then-
go full baby form. He's just like, but he is doing other stuff.
Yeah, it's like pulsating almost. I mean, he also
Yeah.
like becomes a plane a little bit. That was cool.
Yeah, he's like becoming everything he's jumping onto.
Yeah.
I mean, the
That
coolest
was-
part is he becomes that fucking satellite and crashes into that ship at the by the
Yeah,
end.
yeah.
That's the coolest. It's like, is that a person on there?
That
Like
and the fact
fighter
that like
jets are shooting at it.
when the satellite, you know, like they have their big laser that they have to fire up, but like as it's falling, it's like popping off multiple shots.
Yeah, and it's like the
So good.
whatever thing it's firing through is like fractured, so it's just like splitting off in weird directions too.
Yeah.
Also, like I love all the detail that goes into that like machinery, and then it's like all falling apart at the same time.
Yeah.
All the extra, that shit's so good.
Dude, everything, it's so good. It's just very good. Like all the I love the splash panels and like the big close-ups of everything.
Yeah, it's just such a great spectacle.
I don't even know what it is. Like especially the shots of like the skyscrapers and stuff in the manga, like it elicits such a unique feeling. Like it's a sense of dread, kinda, even early on, before we know that this is going to be like a no good story in many ways.
Yeah.
But yeah.
In that interview I watched, Otomo was like, "Yeah, Akira, it's not really a character piece." Talking about the movie.
So,
But I love the way Kaneda is so determined. Like he's even when like Tetsuo is like crashing satellites to destroy things, and Kaneda is like, "I'm gonna fucking take him."
yeah.
Like that dude has no powers, but he is down to fucking try and kill
Man,
Tetsuo, even though he really doesn't even have a plan. No,
We
he
didn't-
specifically doesn't have a plan. He goes, "Fuck plans."
I don't think I mean, he clearly thinks it probably in the manga,
Yeah.
but in the movie when he's like, "Fight me with your hands, you little bitch."
Yeah.
Like it would make this man just like deflected lasers and shit. And you're like, come on, fucking hit me. Do it. You won't. Like it's so good. Man.
It's fun because he's not a good person. Like he's like our hero because he has the youthful energy of wanting to kill Tetsuo. But
Yeah.
like that's really it. He's not like he doesn't in this world of characters with powers, he doesn't have anyone. He's got that good Han Solo energy. in the good way.
He's like a chaotic, more chaotic, maybe a little less good Sokka. You know?
Sokka's smart.
Sometimes. Eventually.
He strategizes. Sokka never goes fuck plans. Sokka would never go fuck plans.
That's true. I guess yeah. There's a distinct difference between not liking plans and having plans that are ludicrous.
Like specifically being anti-plan.
Yeah.
Besides having like ludicrous plans that don't work out. Yeah.
So,
I just kind of can't get over like in a world where we're so flooded with chosen one stories where our hero is the most powerful, like, and the best, like destined to win, like contrasting that with fucking Canada.
yeah.
Who's just got some gumption and a laser gun and a motorcycle in the movie. I wish that had caught on more for like as influential as this movie is.
Just having an average Joe in the in the pilot seat.
Well, that like actually all you need for your protagonist is that he's like is the emotion he brings to it. That like the mechanisms of the plot can come from fucking everywhere else.
Yeah.
You can like other characters can be the best, like the strongest at fighting and shit. It doesn't have to be your hero. My classic example of like, oh, you just fucked up by giving the main character this is the fucking James Cameron Avatar movie. He does not where he like you have a whole thing about a whole plot about this character learning to bond with his flying beast, and then like when you're building up to the climax, he also then has to tame the most untamable beast instead of like giving that to the other character who taught him how to fly. Maybe she should be the one to ride the untamable beast. Maybe that would just make your movie better.
Yeah, yeah. Like,
just an easy, simple, like, your movie would just be better.
Yeah. No, that was definitely a case where, I mean, like, yeah, they're basically one step away from, like, just make her more, like,
because, like, if this movie had been... Yeah, because if this movie was Canada was being possessed and doing all the powered stuff that Kay does, it would be a worse story. It wouldn't be as good.
Yeah. No, that checks out. It tracks. Just,
Yeah.
Instead of having what's her name tame the giant flying beast, or what's his name taming the flying beast, or having any flying beast at all, you have a very buff woman with maybe 2 rocket launchers, one in each hand.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
Whole different film. Completely changes what the military would be willing to go through.
Yeah. So we should probably talk a bit more about. Let's talk about the movie in terms of like
Film.
how these stories come to their conclusions or whatever.
Yeah.
Because you think like it's so funny he had to write the ending to the movie before he had written the end of the manga.
Yeah.
Like he obviously had an idea of where the manga was going, but he had to figure out, okay, how do I fucking end this movie that's like 2 volumes of this comic?
Yeah.
And like the big thing he said was to write the movie, the first thing he had to write was the ending. He had to figure out where the hell he was going.
I think, I mean, it's a little, it's a little different just because of the timeline involved, you know, that it was.
Yeah.
It's not like the manga was finished necessarily, but I kind of view it in the. I mean, again, like in the same sort of way that I view like Lord of the Rings between the books and the films. Like, I would put them on equal footing, but in totally different ways. Well, not totally, but very different ways. Like as a straight, again, because it's not finished, but as like a straight adaptation of the story, absolute dog shit. Just kind of by necessity, but
Yeah, you're cutting it to fucking ribbons.
yeah. But I think in terms of capturing the feel, it's fucking perfect. Like this felt, and like the music and everything, and like the weird breathing.
The soundtrack for this movie is so fucking good.
It's so
wild.
weird that it's really good. I would never fucking listen to it outside of the film. I do not need this on vinyl unless I want to display it. God, that'd be such a terrible. Hey guys, give me the aux cord. I'm gonna put on the Akira soundtrack. Bong, bong, like just destroy the vibe at this party.
But it is definitely one of those things that gives this movie its like particular feel.
Oh, dude, totally.
It's one of those things where like, if like a movie theater, if like I lived in a world where you could go to a movie theater and a movie theater is showing Akira, I enjoy watching Akira in a movie theater as much to like hear that soundtrack in with movie theater speakers as I would to see that animation up on a big screen.
Oh yeah. Oh, that'd be very good.
Again, which is like a thing I'd also say of 2001. Even though those soundtracks are fucking completely different.
No, it's not. They're both 3.5 hours of timpani solo. What are you talking about? 3.5 hours of timpani, half an hour of static while we land on the moon. Or no, high-pitched whine. Sorry. Got my tracks mixed up. I mean, yeah, no, I think that's true for like a lot of things. Like for me, I still really like it because it like elicits some of my fears that are completely irrational coming from a landlocked state on a planet's surface about space. But Gravity, so good in theaters when in the intro when you have that sound and it's building and building and building and building, and then it just like it filling your entire body, and then it just instantly goes silent. Especially when there's nobody there to like ruin the silence.
You just hear somebody next to you going, ah, ah, ah.
I mean, kind of like it's the same deal as Last Jedi. When it goes dead silent, but like,
oh yeah,
it's opening night in the theaters, so it doesn't fucking matter because it happens and there's like a half second of silence, and then someone is like, "Woo!" Like, everyone's just going crazy. Like people were like yelling and stuff, and I'm like, okay, well this will be fun to watch later.
I like the idea though. You're in a fucking crowded theater, and this one person goes, "Woo!" Everyone else is dead silent.
It'd be pretty good.
Yeah. The scene in the movie that sticks out to me the most, though, is that fucking when the kids try to kill Tetsuo, that fucking nightmare of the little toys that then come to become giant and start leaking milk everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a little bit the milk. It was like fine.
That was the part where I was like, Ben, there's a really unfriendly part. It's the part where there's like fucking milk everywhere.
Yeah, no, it was fine, and then as soon as it was like milk, I'm like, you just curse this entire day. I just absolutely tanked my weekend.
It's unsettling.
I can't imagine how it would have fucking smelled. Milk is not a
God.
great smell. Even good
No.
milk.
Oh man. And then he fucking steps on that glass and he gets blood and they're like, "Ah, blood. It's
Yeah,
scary. You jerk." It's like, bitch, you were trying to murder him.
Yeah. I didn't see at
I
that
love
point,
that
like,
dynamic.
even
Those
when it,
fucking weirdo kids.
see, even when they said, like, ew, blood, like, I still thought it was, like, in his head. And he was, like, manifesting, like, oh, I've been hurt or something. And then the whole thing drops, and it's like, oh, no, it's just a bunch of little kids.
Uh-huh. Little kids who are trying to murder him.
Yeah, well, you know. Kids, am I right?
Yeah, I don't know. That fucking giant, like, teddy bear, and then, like, its arm
Dinosaur
turns into a
hands?
snake. Yeah, dinosaur hands, and then it just starts fucking bleeding milk out of every fucking part of itself.
Just awful.
Ugh. The milk is really the thing that brings that all together. It's just completely unsettling and gross.
Yeah, somehow it was better thinking of it as just like some sort of mysterious, gross fluid.
Yeah.
Finding out it's milk is just like,
Yeah. And also, like, the soundtrack for that part is wild.
I honestly don't recall. Which, can you describe it?
Like, there's like a boom, boom, boom when the fucking toy car shows up.
Oh, right.
There's the way it builds is like the bum, 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 bum.
Yeah.
There's just like this weird bounce to it.
I got you. I don't know.
Yeah,
Distinct.
that was the thing.
Yeah. I did like
Tetsuo is just he's just so happy when he's like, "Fuck it, I could do this too." After he yeets himself out the window.
yeah. There was definitely more of like a. It felt like in the film he was more, maybe a bit more in control, but more like, I guess, reveling in his own abilities.
Yeah, because you don't, because they cut the whole part of him eating drugs, basically.
Yeah, like he wasn't. Yeah, in the manga, he was,
also he gets a sweet cape. He has time to go get a cape in the movie.
Yeah, he figures out a cape. Yeah, I mean,
he's like, let me just tear this random piece of red cloth and fold it over myself, and it's a perfect cape.
Well, that's what happens when you just fucking lift ideas from One Punch Man. So, copycat. Jesus. Is nothing sacred anymore?
There's nothing sacred.
Lord. Next, you'll tell me that they stole the bike sliding scene from insert media here. It was actually a much smaller scene than I thought it would be. Honestly.
Yeah.
Not,
It's just that one shot that's used fucking everywhere.
Yeah. I just really thought they were going to hang on it more. But nah, people were just like, this is 2 seconds of goodness that we can lift.
Yeah. Look, man. They built up that bike. They were selling you on that bike.
I mean, I wanted them to
also,
honestly,
like, think about it. People watch this movie in the 80s. They watched that movie over and over and over and over and over.
Yeah. How many
Get that on VHS and just watch it forever.
How many fucking kids do you think got hurt trying to slide their bicycle? Like that?
I mean, at least they show Tetsuo fucking eat faceplant like immediately in the movie.
Yeah.
Like one of the first turns you see is Tetsuo fuck it up.
Yeah. God, that bike is so sick though. It almost
really
made
sick.
like I want.
It is wild going from the the movie to the bike, and you're like, or from the movie to the manga, and you're like, wait, where's the bike though?
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah. Where's that chick in the red jumpsuit who rides the bike? I love the it wasn't much. I mean, they focused more on the bike, but they didn't. It's not like it's a it's not like it's a bike gang anime, right? But I definitely, even the bit that we saw, the mechanics of the bike were very good. Like when he's like dropping the windshield hatch or whatever, and it's like it feels weighty. I love that shit. I absolutely love when we get to see more mechanical stuff like that. Like I mentioned about like
all the mechanical stuff, just seeing it animated. It's like
good.
This was meant to be animated also.
Yeah.
Like, it just looks so cool.
Well, and it's like I said about Iron Man, the OG film where it's like all the mechanical parts and shit. That sort of shit is so good for me. It's like, I don't know. I love watching it. And yeah, the transition from manga to anime in that sense was incredibly good.
Yeah,
felt great watching, and how the bike like takes off, like it felt so fucking weighty and fast. It was great.
Yeah, and like I mentioned, I think on the last one, but like the way they animated all the characters talking, like all the actors they had the voice track beforehand and they animated it to what they'd said, which I think is like a big reason I would say watch this subtitled rather than dubbed. It's just because like that's so much harder to match lip movements to when like it's actually matching words instead of just flaps to sounds.
Yeah.
That's like just a harder task. So it's more like fucked up. It's closer to like what dubbing of live action is like than the way dubbing of anime normally works.
Yeah.
It's just a basic level. Besides the fact that I just need to hear Tetsuo and Kaneda shouted in Japanese. That's just for me. I need that. That's what I need.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't go with the dub, even though like I was having issues getting my subtitles to display on the TV.
Weird.
And I fixed it, but it basically it doesn't, like, for some reason the TV can't read subtitles that are like in a file. It has to be, or in the movie file. It has to be like a little SRT thing next to the film. Then it's fine.
Oh, weird.
But oftentimes when I rip that, like I can rip it out of the thing to make sure that it lines up perfectly. But for some reason there's always like a bunch of, I don't know what does it, but there's like a bunch of, instead of like, oh, it'll be a 0. Or for some reason, like for Tetsuo, it would put like an A at the end instead of an O occasionally. But it doesn't, but it's like the subtitle is also ripped from the Blu-ray. So I know these mistakes aren't in the original thing, but when it rips, it puts them in. Or like there was actually there was a pretty great line that got absolutely ruined and totally biffed a scene. And it was like, I think it was Joker. I think he was saying something about like you have to rev your, maybe it was someone else or they were talking to Joker, but it was someone saying that you have to like rev your engine more, I think is the original line. But in my subtitles, it was like, you have to your and like just a bunch of symbols. I'm like, okay. Just absolutely, yeah. It was great. You have to herbal your gerbil more. Just do it. Just
herbal your gerbil. Herbal your gerbil, dude.
Just absolutely. It was like just a stream of consonants that barely made sense. But yeah. Other than that, like, I'm glad I was able to go with the subs instead.
Look, those two names. At some point, it's just those two names being yelled. Beyond anything else. and
Also,
that's still pretty good.
I feel like it's a stereotype I have that's maybe not entirely true due to limited experience with the genre, but Kay's voice was really good. Like,
Yeah.
anytime, I mean, first off, it's not like maybe it's 80s anime. It's not like modern anime where it's blown over the top. It's just like maybe an art style more than anything, you know. You don't have it's not like it's demonstrating a shitload of tropes that are a problem for me personally.
Oh, you mean like in terms of the way?
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's not it doesn't have
it's not
a lot
kawaii
of the
desu.
tropes of
Yeah.
different
and
anime.
I think that's also because like just the time period, like I don't know that there were a ton of anime doing that.
I mean, the bigger thing is like this isn't a story like wasn't in Shonen Jump. It was marketed at slightly at an older audience, not a teen audience in the same way.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of factors, but like it's still
because that's like where most of that bad trope stuff is for stuff that's for kids and formulaic or whatever.
Yeah, it's just it's one of those subtle things that I think I first realized it was one of the things I really liked about Kill la Kill, despite getting a little tired of that show initially. But what the hell is her name? What's the main character in Kill la Kill?
I don't fucking remember. It's been a while.
Mayuri?
I really don't remember.
Fuck, it's either an M or an R. But like her voice is really good. Like it's a bit deeper and whatever, and it's not like the high pitched screaming or whatever. Not that they always are, but it's that stereotype that whatever. So I mean,
there are a lot of really good deep voice Japanese lady voice actors. They voice male characters a lot of the time.
Yeah. So it's like I mean, ultimately it boils down to it turns out characters that are actual characters.
Yeah. It turns out good anime is good.
Yeah. Wild how that works.
It's almost like things that are good and things that are bad are bad. I love the scene in the movie when the guy tries to blow himself up with the hand grenade and it doesn't go off.
Fucking fizzles.
And the one guy takes the grenade. He's like looking at it, and then afterwards, when Kaneda and Kay are walking around outside, and then that building just explodes.
Yeah, there's like a little poof
because that grenade went off. Finally.
So good. Yeah, that was great. I really liked the early introduction to Tetsuo, like the bodied shit, like he has those premonitions or whatever. That was really cool.
Those like flashes as his head is going. Because in the movie they know where it's going in a way that he didn't when he was writing the comic and that was happening. So he can do that explicitly.
Yeah. And I don't know, the stuff with Akira was interesting.
Yeah. Oh, the where Akira is dead and it's just like his parts.
Yeah, like his
like they harvested him to like they experimented on him to the point where it was just like, here are his optical nerves. Here's his spinal column in a jar.
Yeah. It was interesting. Because it like I guess combined with I don't know, to me it felt like a bit more I'm not sure. I would want like a combination because there's something to me that just feels maybe a little cooler, or it makes it like a higher power level, like that he came back from being only a bunch of nerves and shit. I guess it was just a one of the books I read recently, the good fiction stories, and this dude is basically. One guy is like basically God, and someone attempts to kill him by like completely obliterating him from the inside out, like full atomic explosion on every molecule in his body, and he's like completely gone. And then he just like kind of starts reappearing, Dr. Manhattan style, and he's like, well, I wouldn't shit, I forget the quote, but it was kind of on par with like, this was the first trick I learned or something, or like, I'd be a pretty shitty god if I could like not put myself back together. And it kind of made me think of like, that's what this rendition of Akira made me think. It was cool that he's still like in there.
I will say, like, having watched the movie first and then like reading the comic, when you get to the part where fucking Akira is just fucking there, it's definitely feeling like, fucking, what's gonna fucking happen now? Like, anything's possible.
Yeah.
What's this fucking kid gonna do?
Yeah, I was thinking when I started, I'm like, okay, this is like 2 hours. So I suppose like what they do, like the first half or so probably ends with Akira like exploding, and then the back half is building up to whatever. But then I realized, like, no, they didn't have all the manga finished. I had no idea what they're gonna end on.
Yeah,
but it's like the some of the bits are there. You got that throne and shit.
Yeah, that throne of him like putting his arm on it and then like it getting stuck to it.
And when
he's like hiding it. He's like, don't look at it.
Yeah.
I mean, the ones that get me is like when he gets knocked down by Kaneda and like his hand is like gotten stuck to his chest and it just like falls down and it's like full of meat now.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, there's a lot of...
There's also like that early scene of like his powers are going and he imagines all of his like guts falling out, and then you see him, like,
and he's trying to put him back in.
Yeah,
that was good. Wild one. It's weird because on one hand, I don't necessarily classify that as serial unfriendly, but it definitely makes me really aware of the fact that I also am made of meat and I don't really appreciate it that much.
Yeah. Your whole family is made out of meat.
I don't like being a meat boy.
It's gross. Meat's gross.
Yeah. That's why you go vegetarian.
I mean, the other serial friendly part that I had forgotten that I don't like this time stuck out is like right after Tetsuo gets attacked by the kids in that scene. Like they're the Kaneda and Kei and the terrorist dudes are like sneaking through the sewer, and Kaneda has like, he's like, get down, because Kaneda's an idiot and doesn't know about, he's like, they say hide, he's like, where? He's just standing there. And then when he's like poking his head up to see if they're still left, like a rat that's full of maggots like appears right in front of his face just as the thing is going by. Oh. Yeah. Just to like really hammer home how gross this is.
Yeah, it's pretty cursed. Like the movie really kind of turns that shit up a notch. Even with like Tetsuo killing people, like that hallway got fucking painted, dude. There was goop everywhere.
And there was like a hand like hanging from the ceiling.
Yeah, like his eyeball.
And also like shit. Even like that opening scene of the dude trying to get away with Takashi, like when he gets gunned down, he gets fucking gunned down.
Oh, dude,
like fucking bullet holes and blood everywhere.
Just riddled.
Yeah. I feel like is the Bonnie and Clyde influence on Otomo.
Yeah.
Because that movie ends with those characters just getting fucking riddled with bullets. So like yeah, the violence of Akira, I love it. As someone who loves fantasy violence in my fiction, I'm all here for it.
Yeah. No, it was acceptable violence. No one picked up a fucking box cutter. There was not a hammer pulled out of a drawer.
He does pull out a shard of glass from his foot, but
yeah, wouldn't know. Coincidentally, blinked while that was going on. Wouldn't you know it?
you know, he's like looks at his foot. There are multiple shards of glass sticking out, and he pulls one out.
Weird. I don't think my movie had that scene. It's crazy. It must have got the clean version or something. Yeah, I don't
busy
mind.
Throwing up from the milk part.
Ugh, God. I can imagine being a kid who like rented this when you're little and you have like your little Ben all cheerful on the couch with his bowl of
I
cereal.
want to watch Akira. It's a cartoon.
Ugh. Gross.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good though.
It's very good.
The studio that animated it was TMS, which was like Tokyo Movie Shinsha, which then became TMS. I think like their next movie they made after this, they made or shortly after this at least, they made a version of Little Nemo in Slumberland that like bankrupt them almost. So in the 90s, they had to take just a lot of work for hire. So like a lot of the best 90s animation and kids cartoons was done by the studio that they had to do for work for hire.
Hell yeah.
Like all the best like animated episodes of like Batman the Animated Series and all the Warner Brothers cartoons are all them for one. There's just like a lot of good kids animation that came out because this studio that's incredibly talented had to slum it animating American kids cartoons in the 90s.
Hell yeah. Good quality found anywhere. Man. No, this whole thing was a very good ride. It was a nice opportunity. Because, like, either way, even if I hadn't enjoyed it so much, like, it was still just one of those things, like, it falls under, like with Godzilla, right? Even if I ended up not liking those films, like, still culturally significant.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, maybe I wouldn't have gone with Godzilla. Maybe I wouldn't have I wouldn't have gone all in on 50 films or whatever the hell. But
yeah,
just watching a chunk of them, like it's relevant enough that I'm glad to have seen it either way. But no, this is.
And I do think of like for cultural relevance, you can get by just watching the Akira movie.
Oh yeah,
because the comic is. The story of the comic is better, but it's also not the part of it that's like super influential. Really, it's the movie is really more of like the thing that gets referenced all the time.
Yeah,
it feels like. So kind of the part of the fun of the manga is it's such a bigger story, and it's like not there isn't a lot that feels like it.
Yeah. Oh, this was a good one. So
there are other long comics I would like to do at some point. Now that you've at least gotten your foot wet in doing a long comic for the podcast, but that will not be our next episode.
Just back to back.
Yeah.
Help.
There's some more. There's like, I want to do Pluto, which is shorter than this, but
oh right, the Astro Boy
that's the adaptation of an Astro Boy story.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So we'd also have to. The Astro Boy part is like not that long. because it's like one volume of Astro Boy turned into like a multiple volume thing. And also, I'd like to do an American comic. I'd like to do Bone, which is more of a fantasy epic.
Yeah, I know of Bone.
Yeah,
I picture it. I don't know anything about it, but
look, there are characters in the forest, so I'm sure you'll be okay.
Yeah. I mean, we can do, little.
The recurring villains are all about quiche.
I mean, quiche
They're
is
just
pretty
like
good.
they're like these bear monsters that want quiche. Or one of them wants quiche.
So when are we reading Berserk? You can even skip an entire arc. Think of all the time you'll save.
If only I hadn't hated it so much. It is like our most viewed listened to episode.
That's actually wild. I'd be so curious to see what you think of the rest of the shit. Like, I would never seriously suggest the manga, but I wish there was I wish there was some way to take in the rest of it that wasn't trash. Cause it is like, it at least lines up better. I don't know. The manga handled it way better, I think. It's not as gratuitous, I suppose.
I can see that.
And unlike the new shit tier anime adaptation, they don't replay it like every episode.
Oh, God.
Just to remind you why we're on this quest. Just fucking awful. It's actually the worst. Like it's just it's so bad. It's like beyond words bad.
Also, I've been holding this fact that I only learned while looking at stuff in prep for doing this.
Oh no.
Or recording the first episode. So Otomo directed the live action Mushishi movie.
Oh shit. Man. Not opposed.
It doesn't have very great reviews, I would say.
I think, I feel like I looked not at the movie, but I feel like I read a bit about it. I think there was a live action. I think people said that like it's good, but I think it got low reviews partially because it is one of those things where like if you're not like balls deep into the franchise in some way, you won't give a shit at all. Like it doesn't work on its own, which I think those usually tend to score pretty low, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Do critics ever?
I didn't look that
Yeah.
closely into it beyond like people weren't like, it's great.
But like
I haven't heard, I would say I haven't heard people say it's great about any of Otomo's other work. I mostly haven't really checked any of it out because every time I'm like, is there anything fucking else worth looking at? Like that's great, and people are like, there's stuff that's interesting, but maybe not.
Yeah.
There's nothing that compares to Akira. Nothing gets the Akira comparison in terms of his other work, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Which I felt bad because watching that interview, he's like, I don't want to just be known as the guy who did Akira. I think that's bad. I'm like, you're definitely just known as the dude who just did Akira. That's what happened.
Wait.
Whereas like my other favorite mangaka, like he has 3 series of manga that I fucking love. He's done multiple things that are like he's done like Pluto of the 3 is easily the shortest. He did Monster, and he did 20th Century Boys, which is even longer than Monster.
I'm looking at his filmography. It says that there's an Akira anime series to be announced.
To be announced, I don't know. I haven't heard. Oh, I think Netflix is doing something with Akira at some point,
Oh
theoretically.
no.
uh-huh.
No. I've seen what they did to Godzilla. Don't. Come on. Whatever. Whatever. It's fine. Probably not, but. Anyway.
New Akira anime TV series from original creator.
Does it say Netflix?
This doesn't, no.
That's good. Probably not Netflix then. I feel like that would come up immediately.
I feel like Netflix would have been like a movie or something.
Ugh. I mean, you'd think that they did a. Do you happen to know the cartoon Winx Club?
No.
Well, it was one of those. It was a cartoon for me on Saturday mornings, I believe, and I think it was enjoyed by a lot of little girls and by a lot of little boys for different reasons. Those gothic villains really did a number on small me, much in the way that Hex Girls did for a lot of people, I think. They did a live action version and it's fucking abysmal. Like, just looks terrible. I mean, I have no love for the cartoon or anything, but like, it's one of those, you just look at it and you're like, this isn't even interesting. It just looks terrible.
Yeah. Look at it. It looks like in 2019, Otomo was like working with Sunrise to maybe create an anime based on the manga, which I would fucking be all for.
Yeah.
If you're actually adapting the manga, then it's not. But you have to spend fucking money to make that thing look good.
I mean, yeah, they have
compared with the anime.
They have big shoes to fill.
Because another thing about the movie that's so great is like it's still cell animation. Like that's all fucking hand animated except for like the computer digital effects on top of stuff.
Yeah.
Which is wild to think about. And also there's been like fucking rumors about a live action Akira movie for fucking ever. And I guess the last one was like they had Taika Waititi attached to direct one, but he's doing that next Thor movie, so it's unclear if he's gonna do that afterwards or if that's just falling apart or whatever it looks like. So I don't know.
I just realized I do need to get going in a second here, but I just realized I totally neglected to look at Bart Kira.
Well, we'll just have to do a separate Bart Kira episode.
Completely, yeah. Man,
it's just you just have to basically read Akira all over again, but this time they're the Simpsons.
I mean, that is a very good premise for rereading something that I just read, honestly.
Yeah. All the art is different.
I mean, where's Godzilla Kira? Kaneda is Godzilla, who is clueless and not effective at doing things. K is probably Mothra.
Yeah.
Akira is naturally Ghidorah.
We should probably just do the Marvel Comics Godzilla series at some point.
I'm down.
That should probably just happen.
That sounds
like want to see Godzilla in a fedora and trench coat.
Who doesn't? That just sounds like something I should just buy physically, like without asking.
It's completely
questions.
Out of print.
That just sounds like something I should spend a lot of money on to buy now that it's out of print.
and the only collection they ever put out was only black and white because it was only a Marvel Essentials, which is like newsprint, not in color. And that's impossible to find.
I'll find it.
Okay.
If someone can buy a Black Lotus on eBay for $500,000, I can buy a Godzilla comic for any amount of money. It's
see,
all part
Essential
of my
Godzilla.
stocks plan.
Okay, it's like $90 on Amazon
fuck,
if you want
that's
to
not
grab
bad.
it right now.
That's not bad. Actually, the
If
Godzilla,
it were that comic in color, I would think about it. But
yeah,
in black and white, that's too much.
the
Not actually
Godzilla,
a great quality.
the Godzilla thing I want, and I don't know that I'll ever be able to get at this point, is the Godzilla PS4 game. That shit is like $240 on Amazon right now, I guess.
Wait, the PS4 game? Isn't that game garbage?
That one also got reviews that was like, if you really like Godzilla, it's fine, and if you don't, you're gonna have a bad day.
Everything I watched footage of that game. It looked fucking terrible.
You wanted to play
The
it,
good the Godzilla games that were good are like the older ones that were like
know,
fighting games.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I know the GameCube one is really good. Maybe if, maybe if Nintendo would do more virtual console shit, we could actually play those games without pirating them. But whatever, that's cool. I'm not a businessman or anything. Anyway.
No, not that old. Like PS2 games.
I mean, that's the same era.
3D.
Yeah.
The
GameCube.
3D ones. Yeah.
GameCube. PS2.
Yeah.
I played it, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I remember playing it. There were buildings. Godzilla was there.
Yeah, they were buildings. Those games are fine.
Anyway.
Email us saltcirclepodcast@gmail.com. Find us at Salt Circle Pod on Twitter. We're hosted where podcasts are hosted. And our episodes are specifically at anchor.fm/saltcircle. And I'm on Twitter at Comic Panels.
I ain't nowhere. You can find me in a absolute 0-degree holding cell.
Ben has transcended to another world.
Yeah. And as such, my name is no longer Ben, it's Ben Kira. Or we can go for the Hulk nomenclature, and I become Bennu. So, yeah, don't at me because you can't.
Ben the World Breaker.